think we went a little bit over budget. Hey guys, I know it's already been a month since Super Expo, but here are 5 things I wish I knew, so hopefully you get to learn about these next year when you plan your trip. Number 1 is I wish I joined the Discords and I knew about the off-kais and a lot of the fan meetups before I actually went to the convention. Why? Because as we were going to the convention, we started meeting a lot of people that probably came from the same area as us, and they really knew what was going on thanks to a lot of Discords that they were part of. Whether it's your Oshi's Discord or if you're via some sort of like events Discord, a lot of these places are good places for you to connect with people who are traveling, maybe even connect with them to get those tickets, but they're going to help you plan out your events, figure out where to meet up, and find the best ways to figure out how to go about the convention. So a lot of these people are solo travelers. So it's a really good way to find like-minded people and travel towards other places or travel towards the same places that you want to go to. And afterwards, after all the conventions, you meet up and you can go to an off-kai, you can go out and drink, or you can just like chill and hang out, because while the convention is only during the daytime, you're not going to get a chance to hit every concert or every stage. So you might as well find some people that you vibe with, and usually those Discords or finding where these fan meetups are a really good place to start. Number 2 is researching the expo before actually going in. This is a really big problem with a lot of larger expos where you just don't know where to go. One of the big things when a lot of people go into these expos is that they grab the map and they don't even bother looking at the map, being very, very lost. So the best way really is, if you're going on day 1, take a look at the map, or sorry, if you're going on day 2, take a look at the map and just read through it and figure out what you want to do. Because there's a big difference in how lines are managed in both American and Japanese expos, because with American expos you can have very, very long lines, and these lines can eventually get very unmanageable. However, with Japanese expos, and this is from my experience with Anime Japan and Super Expo, is that after a certain point, they end up cutting off the line and just giving people tickets to come back at a certain time. Once those people come back, they end up reopening the line up just so the lines are not congested at that time. So being able to go to a lot of the exhibits that are put upon by Super Expo, that was really, really fun. So there's a lot of things to see, but there isn't really a lot of things to do. So I think that's probably one thing for Cover to keep in mind. Like, I think a lot of fan interaction would be really cool, because if you didn't really have meet and greet tickets, you're really just going around and you're treating it kind of like an art gallery. So I do heavily recommend that if you're traveling with a group, figure out what you want to do, and you don't have to be a group. You can just split off and figure out what you want to visit or go on your own accord. Number 3 is making sure you know about your food options. With Holo Super Expo, a lot of things are ordered ahead of time. And with being able to order things ahead of time, you don't really know how big those portions are. Unless you really want to have the limited merch that is attached to those foods, your chances are you're not going to have a chance to purchase it at the expo. So if it's at Makuhari Messi, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, is that if it's in Chiba again next year, just know that there are different options available outside of the expo hall, and they do allow you to exit the exhibition and come back in. So what we did before or during stage 1 and stage 2 is that there's a Costco nearby, and we ended up just walking there, and we found a lot of foreigners that were walking towards Costco that were just meeting up because everyone just wanted Costco chicken to energize up for stage 2. So we end up going to Costco, and surprise, it turns out the Costco card is accepted, or a US Costco card is accepted in Japan. So just know that there's a Costco nearby. You can go to convenies that are just across the street, and you can just go back into exhibition. Number 4 is that you should open up the gachas at the venue. I say this because when you're at the venue, everybody is opening up their gachas, and based off of what the JP Bros and what the Kaigai Nikkis all have or all like, you're likely going to be able to manage a one-to-one trade with the exception of say, a Susei or a Gura. So when you're at the convention, there's a really cool thing while you're outside and just walking around towards maybe the end of stage 2 or the end of the day. There are a lot of people that are just sitting down and they just open up shop. They usually have like a sign next to them showing what they want. Maybe it's in hiragana, katakana, maybe they'll put in romaji, but opening your gacha is the best way to get what you want. Because I saw a lot of people trading for Susei. A random person just walked up to me and gave me an Ina card or Ina gacha, and I was so happy, and I traded her for a Toa. Figuring out what people want and trading right there is probably the best thing or the best way you're gonna find these trades. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna end up having to go to Akiba or going to Ikebukuro and buying it for 3 times price. And number 5 is managing your energy levels. This is true for all conventions because when you're at a convention and you're going to multiple concerts and you're walking around all day, you need to know when to take a break. Because I think I showed this in my vlog, how many steps I had during my first day. I think it was like 42,000 or 46,000, something like that. You need to be able to figure out when you're gonna sit down, and you have to wear very, very comfy shoes. Because everyone that was wearing, say, Air Forces or dress shoes was regretting it. So I ended up just wearing my comfiest pair of shoes, and I was feeling like a rock star that entire time. But figuring out your energy level is really important, but also taking into account your commute time. Because with the JTB package, we ended up going to Tokyo and then coming back into Chiba the next day. And then when you're commuting, you don't have to be the first ones to get there. Especially if you have the JTB pass, because you're going to be going into a different line from like the larger population. But at the same time, unless you're doing something that's time sensitive, it's very, very easy and very quick to get to the convention. It's nowhere near like Anime Expo levels. But one thing that I do wish that I did was to, instead of staying in Tokyo, stay in Chiba for the duration of that and transfer to somewhere in Tokyo, just so that you can hang out with people in Chiba, go to the local offkais, and then meet up with people afterwards who are sticking around Japan for a little bit, and just, I don't know, meeting up with them from Discord, drinking with them, or going out and just going merch hunting. And obviously that's not everything you need to know, but I thought that those are the 5 biggest things that I found a little bit hard about Super Expo, especially because it's a different convention in a different country. Like, usually we're used to anime conventions where there's a lot to see and a lot of interactions, whereas this is solely focused on HOLOLIVE. One of the things I did wish is that there was some sort of guide online that gave me some sort of tips on how to navigate through the expo, what to expect, what's different about these expos. But really, it's just figuring out and doing your own research about how expos work in Japan versus the US, and just finding people who you vibe with. Because I think with the exhibition and with the community, I definitely think that the biggest highlight of this trip was, I guess, yes, it was the concerts, not gonna lie. I love the concerts, but it really was all the people that you meet. So I heavily recommend you to go to a lot of these offkais, join the Discords, and get to know the community before you go out flying, and you'll probably have a really good time. Also, I spent a decent chunk at Super Expo. I definitely know that there are people that spent upwards of $800. I think for me and some of the people I was purchasing stuff for, it was about, I want to say 480 USD, which is a lot, but it was also split between 2 or 3 people. So one thing I should mention is that it's HOLOLIVE. It's very easy to spend money, and I heavily recommend start saving now if you get a chance. Alright, see ya.